I'm the fan.
And I'm the service.
And this is Blatant Fan Service. Hey, so we filmed this video like 6 months ago, and then
a lot of stuff happened since then. Cast and crew have said some
wild things in the past 6 months since we filmed this.
And before that, but like, yeah.
We would like to clarify that this video is, again, not an endorsement.
We're playing paper dolls with the little versions of these guys that live in our brains. It's paper doll fanfiction time.
And any feelings that we have about the characters in this show are very much about the characters in the show. Specifically the versions of them that live in our heads and not necessarily even the show. I know that a lot of people are planning to boycott season 5 for a variety of reasons.
Oh, they could watch this one instead.
Yeah, watch this one instead.
This one's better.
The Duffer Brothers want what we have.
And my mustache. Our version of Season 5 exists in a universe where Season 4 we wrote in 2020 and the actual season that premiered in 2022 both happened simultaneously.
If you haven't seen our version of Season 4, you can go back to our last video to watch that, where we remade it because the first time it was bad. But basically all the important bits that you should know are that it's an all-week slumber party, baby. Spring break.
Spring break.
There's an evil force in town that's making people gay.
Because we, the audience, know that he's just gay.
Well, do you know who this is?
Never seen him.
Okay. I guess the Mind Flayer's targeting him.
I guess so. There are straight guys who like the Smiths, Nancy.
Her parents are letting him live in their garage because they think he's an at-risk gay teen.
Parade of fun button-downs.
Mike's horny mom. Unconscious and tastefully posed nude body of Alexi. Murray, what the fuck? They pass by the graveyard and stop to spit on Billy's grave.
Billy Hargrove's grave is the first gender-neutral bathroom in Hawkins.
There's a rabid raccoon already living there and it hisses at him. Oh no, there's a rabid raccoon who hisses at him. Oh no, there's a rabid raccoon who hisses at him. The Mind Flayer looming over him, wearing a gay little outfit.
Ha ha, he laughs.
Hey Jonathan, are you also researching how the Mind Flayer makes people gay?
The Mind Flayer can make people gay?
Yep, happened to Steve.
Steve gets really defensive about it.
Who hasn't had gay thoughts?
Don't worry, buddy. Nobody's gonna turn my friend gay. KJ Appa.
But blonde. Hey, but no grandma kisses. I'll be watching.
Yeah, man, I'll rock his world.
He's decided to run away, to live alone in the woods until the day that the Mind Flayer comes to kill him, or until his mom gets back to town. Whichever comes first.
When did you last see him?
Well, he was definitely here when you dropped him off.
He's missing!
She explains to him that sometimes gay people exist. And right now, they're existing in the back of the van.
The Mind Flayer isn't really back, is it, Will? Rab Steve and plants one on him, they are left flabbergasted.
Could have added a little more tongue, but it'll do.
I'm not gay! The Mind Flayer's gay!
Joyce and Hopper walk in.
Oh god, everyone's gay now.
The Mind Flayer was gay the entire time. It just had nothing to do with how gay everyone else is.
We're gonna make a lot of references to both versions of the season. You just gotta go with it.
Don't worry about it, little buddy. Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
We open on an abandoned, decrepit Starcourt Mall. Since the battle in Season 3, it has been left to rot on the outskirts of Hawkins and has been taken over by weeds and moss and creeping vines. A raccoon creeps out from the wild shrubbery, and we follow it as it skitters across the rubble-filled parking lot and slips through the chain-link fence that has been haphazardly placed to ward off trespassers.
We pan over to a small group of trespassers now, testing the fence for weak points. They are two teenage couples. One, just a pair of rowdy, rebellious teens, and then one, a rowdy boy and a more reserved girl.
Are you sure this is safe? My dad said they fenced it off for a reason. He said the mall's gonna collapse the rest of the way any day now.
Do you always listen to what your daddy says, little Debbie?
Don't worry, babe. I'll keep you safe.
You guys, I found a gap.
Come on, I want to smoke drugs and have premarital sex in an abandoned building.
The teens slip through the fence and revel for a moment in their own rebelliousness. They look up at the abandoned mall, which seems to glow in the moonlight.
It's almost kind of pretty, don't you think?
just like you, babe.
We switch to a view from far above them, and the camera swoops down quickly towards them. The teens look up, and what they see terrifies them. They stumble back and try to run as they scream, but we continue to descend, coming in tight for a close-up of Debbie's horror-filled face as she screams, and we cut to black.
This is the first of many homages to our main inspiration for the season, 1987's The Lost Boys.
A film of all time.
We cut to a chaotic morning at the Byers-Hopper-Bauman household. After last season, they all moved back to Hawkins together, and because of the local housing market being in shambles, they were able to buy a large house to all live in together, Full House style. Joyce is the Danny Tanner, and Hopper is like a very PTSD-ridden Uncle Jesse, and Murray's their Uncle Joey. He lives in the basement with his 3 Russian boyfriends who all smoke weed, and all of them are collectively raising their 3 children together.
Everybody is getting ready for the day, and Hopper knocks on Elle's door to remind her that his therapy appointment is at 10, so they need to get going soon or he'll be late. Hopper will be largely absent this season because he is in an intensive outpatient program to help him cope with his PTSD and also his Russian eating disorder, because he wants to become the best dad he can be for Elle, and he has realized he needs some help to do that.
Downstairs, Murray is cooking breakfast in his little housewife apron, and Joyce and Will are sitting at the table.
Are you gonna hang out with Mike this weekend? I'm sure he'd love some help looking after Holly.
Maybe. I don't know.
I haven't seen Mike around here in a while. I figured you'd be inseparable once you got back to town. Did something happen?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Are you sure? You can always talk to me, honey, about anything.
No, it's fine. He's just been busy.
At the Wheeler house, Karen and Ted are loading their bags into a taxi outside and saying goodbye to Mike and Holly. They are leaving on a week-long marriage-saving retreat because Ted realized that his wife is horny for teenage boys, and she realized that she is probably never going to be attracted to her husband, but they're Republicans so they can't divorce.
You're sure you're okay having Thanksgiving without us this year?
Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, don't forget to check the schedule on the fridge every day. Holly's got karate tomorrow and ballet on Wednesday, and Stacy W's birthday this afternoon, remember?
God, Mom, yes, I know.
And don't let her off the leash, okay, Michael? I need you to swear on whatever is left of your grandmother's life, you will not let her off the leash. We don't want to be like the Byers, do we? Just letting our children go missing in the woods.
Mom! Will you please just go?
Don't speak to your mother like that, young man.
Will you tell Nancy goodbye for us?
I don't see why she can't take 5 minutes to come say bye herself.
Mike, you leave your sister alone this week. She's doing very important work. It's amazing that New York Times was willing to hire her straight out of high school and all. She needs to show them they made the right choice.
Karen and Ted finally get in the cab and drive off, and we move upstairs to Nancy's room, which has been converted into a combination newsroom/private detective office with a big messy desk and a giant computer and a murder board that takes up 2 walls. We see missing persons flyers and newspaper clippings about mysterious deaths. We also see a stack of what are very clearly forged credentials for the New York Times, and we come to realize that Nancy does not work for the New York Times. That is a lie she's been telling to make her look more official when she's doing her own freelance detective work.
And she never came home?
Yes, it's like she just vanished. I've been to the police station every day for 3 weeks, but those bozos keep insisting that she must have run away with those hoodlum friends of hers. But they're wrong. My Deborah would never run away like that.
Don't worry, Mrs. Johnson. I'll look into it.
She jots down some notes and adds another pin to her murder board. Now that the town has started to settle down from the Vecna murders and the earthquakes, the police have been very reluctant to announce any more deaths, but in the past month there's been a new spike of disappearances. Nancy has taken to investigating them on her own to try and bring closure to people like Barb's parents.
Across town, Hopper and Elle drive up to the trailer park where Max now lives with her mom and Wayne Munson. While she was in the hospital, he came to visit her and got to know her mom, and they decided to pool their government hush money to buy a larger, more accessible trailer to make things easier for Max while she was getting used to her new wheelchair, and it ended up being the perfect setup for all 3 of them.
Wayne was still mourning Eddie's death, so it was good for him to be around people, and Max's mom joined Hopper's outpatient program to get her drinking under control so she could finally give Max a stable home. And between her and Wayne's schedules, there is now always at least one safe adult around the house for Max.
Once Max's broken wrists healed and she started physical therapy, Wayne gave her Eddie's old guitar and started teaching her how to play it to help her rebuild strength and coordination in her fingers, and she fell in love with it.
Hopper drops Elle off, and she and Max head over to a nearby park where Max has been teaching Elle how to use her old skateboard, and Elle likes to use her regained mind powers to make Max's chair fly up and grind on railings. And it's fun.
Max tells Elle that she has a surprise before they start skating, and she takes off her beanie to reveal her newly shaved head.
Sure.
Yeah. I know you were still sad they cut your hair, so I thought if I cut mine too, we could grow our hair out together.
We match.
And Robin too. She and Steve helped me buzz it, and then she let me do hers too. Steve almost let me do his, but he started crying as soon as Robin turned the clippers on.
Speaking of Steve and Robin, we find Robin standing on her parents' doorstep with a big duffel bag over her shoulder, giving a tearful goodbye.
Promise you'll call every day.
I will.
And you have to be here for Sunday dinner every week, okay?
I promise you guys, it's not like I'm moving across the country. I'll visit all the time.
We love you, honey.
We love you. Goodbye.
Travel safe.
Be careful.
She hikes her bag up on her shoulder and walks 15 feet to the garage and drops her bag on the floor. Steve is waiting for her there, along with Dustin and Erica.
How'd they take it?
I think they'll live.
Are we gonna build these beds or not?
I came to supervise, not stare at the walls.
Together, they construct a very shitty set of bunk beds using Steve and Robin's very incompatible bed frames and a bunch of loose screws and nails and duct tape. This is an homage to the classic 1980s comedy film, Step Brothers. They need the space for all of their activities.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Actually, this might not have been a very good idea. Maybe we should have just bought bunk beds.
What? No! We're saving so much money. We don't need to buy new beds when we've got perfectly good beds already.
Yeah, but maybe there's a reason people buy pre-made bunk beds. Like, maybe they need to have more structural integrity than this. Like, what if I'm on the bottom bunk and one of the legs breaks and the whole thing collapses and I'm crushed to death in my sleep? Or what if I don't die right away and instead I suffocate? What if that happened?
Then I'll take the bottom bunk and you can have the top one.
No, but what if it collapsed and I was still asleep and you were slowly suffocating underneath me while I slept and I didn't even know and I killed you with my stupid sleeping body? Oh god, I couldn't live with myself if I killed you in my sleep.
Robin, it's totally safe, see? I'll show you. Here, Erica, let's show her.
Dustin and Erica climb up on the top bunk to prove how stable and safe it is.
And it immediately collapses into a pile of wood scraps and duct tape.
Ugh, holy shit.
Erica, who used Dustin's torso to cushion her fall, stands up and dusts herself off and reminds Steve and Robin that their next shift starts soon and she's coming with them.
Steve groans and grabs his keys and asks Dustin if he wants a ride home first, but he says he's gonna bike to the arcade with Lucas.
We follow...
dusts himself off a little. Dustin himself off.
We follow him and see Dustin and Lucas meet up in the parking lot next to a burned down family video.
Because we have decided that it is imperative for Steve and Robin to have a new and different stupid job every season that burns down and leaves them jobless every time.
Is Max coming too?
No, she's busy. She's hanging out with Elle again.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa, is that a hearse? Creepy.
Oh my god, that's that guy who's staying with us.
The boys duck behind another car and watch as a tall, creepy-looking man steps out of the hearse and walks towards the 7-Eleven, carrying a large black sun umbrella.
The teacher dude?
Yeah, it's some teacher exchange program. I thought we'd get like someone cool, like Mr. Clark, but we got that guy. He's super weird. He like never goes out in the sun, and I always hear him leaving in the middle of the night. Plus, I don't think I've ever seen him eat anything.
Freaky.
This is our fan-favorite original character, Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord. He's staying with Dustin and his mom, and he's the craziest guy that you, the audience, have ever seen.
He is like Vincent Price in a Victorian witch costume. He is like a villain from a children's Halloween cartoon. Imagine Dimitri from the classic 1980s children's adventure film, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire.
He is most certainly an evil witch slash vampire slash warlock slash mummy slash ghoul.
We cut to establishing shots of a children's birthday party. The backyard is covered in colorful balloons and streamers, and it's full of sugar-happy 7-year-olds in party hats. Among them is Holly Wheeler, attached by her child leash to Mike. A harried mother steps out of the house and calls out,
"Who's ready for pony rides?"
The children go wild as a very sad, lumpy horse shuffles out into the yard. They immediately start jumping and climbing on it, and we hear some muffled grumbling and sounds of pain.
We cut inside the horse to find out
to survive in the cold winter.
We cut inside the horse to find a very sweaty and rumpled looking Steve and Robin. After the family video burnt down, they needed to find a new job, but the only one they could find that would take both of them was horse. So now their job is horse.
At the refreshment table, we see Erica watching the chaos, looking pleased. Mike drags Holly over and pours himself a drink.
Aren't you a little old for this party? Do you even know anyone here?
Aren't you a little old to be on a leash? Ugh, Tweedledum and Tweedledummer over there made me a deal once. They gave me free ice cream for life, and I'm not about to let them out of that contract just because Scoops burned down. With their new gig, I get into at least 2 birthdays a week with all the cake and ice cream I can eat, plus face painting and party favors and horsey rides whenever I want.
Do you seriously want horsey rides? Isn't that a little beneath you?
I'm 12. I'm not dead, you gangly ass bitch.
We pop over to the police station where Nancy is attempting to interrogate Callahan and Powell about their recent disappearances. Hopper chose not to return to his old job, which is good for him but bad for Nancy, who no longer has an inn at the station.
I don't think my boss at the New York Times will be very happy to hear that you're both refusing to aid in an important investigation.
Nancy, there's a typo on your lanyard. The R and O are mixed up, so it says Reproter.
Thank you. I will inform my boss right away and get a new one. So what can you tell me about Deborah Johnson? She's been missing for over 3 weeks and you still think she just ran away?
Yes. Now can you go home already? We're not giving you any information. We know you're not really a reporter.
What? Yes, I am. I have a lanyard.
That says Reproter.
Go home, Nancy.
Nancy huffs but closes her notebook and turns to leave. She stops when she sees Jonathan and Argyle walk through the doors of the station with a stack of pizza boxes.
What's up, cop dudes? We got your usual and I threw an extra order of garlic knots for you, Calaman. And there's an extra baggie of oregano in this top box here. Wink.
The cops give them both a friendly greeting and go to collect their food.
Argyle and Jonathan have worked out a deal with the local police that they bring them free pizza once a week in exchange for not busting them for all the weed. The cops think that they are friends. They are not Argyle's friends. One day he is going to poison them with arsenic.
Oh man, I needed this. Thanks guys. The state's been up our asses about these missing teens. I don't want to deal with another serial killer case.
You think it's a serial killer?
Either that or we've got some kind of rabid animal attacking people.
So you've got the bodies?
Shit.
I thought you left already.
How many bodies have you found?
Go home, Reproter Nancy. I told you, we're not at liberty to say anything about this, okay?
Argyle, Jonathan, and Nancy all walk outside after Argyle exchanges a complicated handshake with the cops.
I can't believe they won't tell me anything just because I'm a woman.
Actually, I think it's because you misspelled reporter on your lanyard.
God, if I could only get some more clues, I could blow this case wide open.
Do you want, help? You know, like old times?
Nancy looks over to where Argyle is lighting up a breadstick he fashioned into a pipe.
Yeah, I think I'm good on my own, thanks.
Okay, well, the offer stands. You see some weird stuff delivering pizzas.
Nancy gets into her car, which is one of those pink Cadillacs that they give you if you sell enough Mary Kay, and turns the key, and immediately all 4 wheels pop off and roll away, and every door comes unhinged and falls down, and the engine evaporates into dust. She sighs and walks back to the van, where Jonathan is now taking a turn with the breadstick pipe. She makes that pinched little Nancy face,
about that offer.
Hop on in, lady bro. Let's do some journalism.
We return to the full house where everybody is finishing dinner and getting ready for bed. Elle excitedly recounts her day with Max and tells him she got to watch Max practice her guitar scales, and Max taught her how to do a manual trick on her skateboard.
That's great, sweetie. And you had fun? You like skateboarding?
Max loves skateboarding.
And so do you?
Mm-hmm. After everybody has gone to bed, Joyce and Murray sit up in the kitchen sharing a pot of tea. They hear a window open and some rustling, and Joyce sighs.
Again?
That's the third night this week.
And you're just letting him. I expected you to weld every window in this house shut by now.
I don't want to smother him. He's got his pepper spray, his whistle, and the microchip.
What?
I don't know what else I can do.
You're not worried.
I'm terrified, but I'm almost more afraid to lock him up and make him hate me. I had Elle follow him once in her head, and she said he just goes for walks and thinks. I think he just needs space. We've all been worried about him for so long. I think sometimes he just needs to take a break. There's something he hasn't been telling me, but I'm hoping if I give him a little more time, he'll come talk to me and he won't need these late night walks anymore.
We move outside to follow Will, who has snuck out of his bedroom window. His path is clearly one he's taken a lot before, and he knows every turn to make. He sneaks quietly through the sleeping town until he reaches his destination. He looks up at the structure in front of him with reverence, takes a steadying breath, and steps forward.
Back at the Buckley garage, Steve and Robin are laying in their reinforced bunk beds, wearing matching feety pajamas.
Every time we see their garage, the beds will be in worse and worse condition as they are routinely repaired and destroyed and repaired and destroyed.
Robin finally relented to sleep in the top bunk and is now snoring peacefully. Steve, however, is restless and can't fall asleep just yet. He hears a rustling outside and sits up.
Robin just grumbles and turns over.
Steve picks up his nail bat from beside the bed and silently creeps outside to investigate. He hears more rustling from around the side of the garage where they keep the garbage cans, and he follows the sounds. He sees one can lightly shaking and raises his bat, ready to defend himself from whatever new monster has infiltrated Hawkins.
Instead, a rabid raccoon jumps out of the can and hisses at him.
Steve startles but lowers the bat and sighs, relieved that it was only one of the many rabid raccoons infesting the town, and heads back to the garage. Just as he turns the corner, however, a figure swings down into frame behind him, hanging from a tree branch like a bat. Steve spins on his heel at the movement and gasps as he comes face to face with Eddie, previously thought to be dead. Eddie grins and says,
"How's it hanging, big boy?"
T-Rex's Jeepster plays as we cut to credits.
End of episode.
Okay, real quick to manage expectations. This is not steady fan fiction.
We understand that we are currently dressed as Steve and Eddie, and also we do fully make them have gay sex this season.
But that is purely because we thought it would be funny.
They're gonna fuck, but it will not be romantic. It is purely sexual.
That is all. We can get back to the regularly scheduled programming now. It's another breakfast at the Full House house, and Will walks downstairs, and we do a classic Stranger Things upward pan from his cool gothy shoes all the way up to his cool alternative haircut as we reveal Will's cool new post-punk makeover. He walks into the kitchen and Joyce drops an egg on the ground in surprise.
Will, your hair is different.
Oh, yeah. Do you like it?
Bitchin'.
Thanks, Elle.
Very cool, man.
It looks very nice, sweetie. But who?
Don't worry about it, little buddy.
Will grabs a piece of toast and kisses her cheek and disappears out the door. And Joyce is like, oh fuck, I have to worry extensively about this.
Argyle picks up Jonathan and Nancy, and the three of them go to the local animal control / animal shelter to investigate after Powell mentioned possible animal attacks. Nancy heads inside, and Argyle and Jonathan stop to talk for a moment.
Hey man, do you think this will take real long? My manager Blonde KJ Appa has been like so strict lately about me actually delivering the pizzas.
I don't know, but I think Nancy kind of needs this. She was like really torn up about our breakup when she told me I was gay. She was really in love with me, and I think she still is, and she hasn't really had any friends since she quit Mary Kay, so she's probably lonely. This whole murder investigation is probably just a ploy to spend time with me, but it's important to her, so I think we should just humor her.
Alright, man. I get it. I can probably get away with a few more days of undelivered pizzas.
They meet Nancy inside, and she quickly berates them for slacking off during an investigation, and Jonathan gives Argyle a knowing look. From out of a back room steps Monica, who works there. She is currently bottle feeding an injured baby rabbit, and she's the kindest, most good-hearted woman to ever walk the earth.
Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting any visitors today.
Yes, sorry to intrude, but I was hoping to ask you a few questions.
I hope I can give you some answers.
Right, okay. I'm working on an article for the New York Times, and...
The New York Times? How prestigious! And you're so young. Your mother must be so proud of you.
Yes, anyway, have there been any noteworthy animal attacks lately? Maybe a rise in activity, anything like that?
Gosh, not that anyone's reported.
So no strange behaviors, cases of rabies, nothing?
Not at all, thank heavens. Animal attacks have been actually on the decline lately. I started a new program to rehome and rehabilitate our local rabid raccoon community, and in the past few months, there's only been a handful of reports about them. It's been a great success, yeah. I've actually got a few little angels in the back if you'd like to meet them.
Raccoons are the ones with the little hands, right?
No, thank you. We've got to get going. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Come back anytime. We're always looking for new homes for our furry friends. And good luck with your article.
We hop over to the second horsey party of the weekend, where Erica is waiting on the curb for Steve and Robin, who are running late. Steve stumbles out of the car wearing sunglasses and looking like he just got run over by a car.
And just where have you two been? You know one of the core components of capitalism is supply and demand, and nobody's gonna be demanding your services anymore if you can't supply them with some horsey rides.
Quit it, Pipsqueak. Steve's having a rough morning, okay?
Is he hungover?
Steve begins to throw up in a bush, and Robin rushes to hold his hair back for him.
No, he's having migraines again, but we can't call out of work or we'll lose another job. This is why we need unions.
I don't think they have unions for horses.
Then maybe I'll start one. The world's first horsey union. We'll have benefits, and dental, and paid sick leave.
Not to slow your roll, Robs, but can you plot a little quieter?
He really does look like shit. Are you sure it's not the flu?
I'm fine. Let's just get through this and go home, okay?
They get into their horse costume and go through the motions, trotting around the party and giving out horsey rides, but Steve is clearly unsteady on his feet and fading fast. Then the birthday boy runs up and yanks on the tail of the costume, and Steve instinctively kicks back and hits the kid square in the chest, sending him flying into the face painting table.
The kids' parents quickly usher Steve and Robin outside, and Erica follows to find them huddled in the shade of Steve's car. Steve is crying, and Robin is gently petting his hair.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what just happened. I wasn't thinking. I just got so mad.
You're fine, babe. That kid was a brat. He got what was coming to him.
Okay, are we sure this is normal?
No, yeah, Steve's had so much head trauma over the years. Sometimes he goes a little loopy. Light sensitivity and headaches and irritability are all symptoms of post-concussion syndrome. This is normal for him.
No, I know that, but this is still weird. Did something, trigger it? He was normal yesterday. What happened last night?
I don't know. I can't remember.
And that's not suspicious?
Memory loss is also common with concussions. Look, I need to figure out a way to get him home. Are you good to walk?
Yeah, it's just a few blocks.
Erica starts to walk home, but at the street corner she sees a flyer on the telephone pole about a missing man, and she glances back suspiciously at Steve, who is still way out of it.
We cut to a garage where the 3 surviving members of Corroded Coffin are having a very listless rehearsal. They're trying to keep the band together, but it's clear that their hearts aren't really in it without Eddie. They stop playing and look up when 2 teenage girls arrive at the opening of the garage.
You guys are Corroded Coffin, right? Eddie's old band?
Yeah, what's it to you?
Cool. I'm your new lead guitar player.
What?
Max unhooks the guitar case she strapped to her chair and opens it to reveal a familiar red and black Warlock guitar.
Holy shit.
Is that Eddie's?
Yep. Wayne gave it to me. I've got his uncle and I've got his guitar. I think that means I get a spot in his band.
The three boys have a quick silent band meeting before turning back to her and agreeing.
Cool. I'm Max.
I'm Jeff, second guitar.
Gareth, drums.
My name's Freak One. I play bass.
And I'm Elle.
She's our tambourine player.
Elle pulls a tambourine out of the bag on Max's chair and shakes it to demonstrate.
No singer?
Eddie was our lead vocalist.
Okay, I can do that. Let's go, yeah?
Jeff tosses Max a cable to plug in her guitar, and band practice begins again in earnest. Already, they sound exceptionally better with Max taking the lead.
Over at the Hendersons' house, Dustin, Lucas, and Mike are hanging out, which means that Holly is also there on her leash.
Dude, motherhood is exhausting. I don't know how our moms and Steve do it. I didn't think 7-year-olds had interests outside of, like, butterflies. She's got so many organized activities.
I'm surprised you didn't ask Elle to babysit with you.
Yeah, like, Elle, I just love parenting with you. I can't wait till we're old and have a bunch of mutant super babies of our own to drive to soccer practice.
Yeah, no, she broke up with me again.
Oh, shit.
Don't worry, man. I'm sure you'll get back together in no time.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's permanent this time. Have you talked to Max recently?
Not in a few days. I mean, she's been pretty busy with PT and stuff.
So she hasn't broken up with you yet?
No. Why would she break up with me? We've been good since spring break.
Dude, Elle broke up with me like 2 days ago, and I just heard from Gareth that Max is in corroded coffin now, and she brought Elle with her.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
She brought Elle to play tambourine. That's literally the girlfriend instrument.
Man, what are you talking about?
Ugh! Everybody knows the tambourine is the instrument you give your girlfriend so she can be in your band and feel included. There's literally no other use for a tambourine.
Bullshit. There's no way Max is breaking up with Lucas. Not even for Elle.
Yeah, sure. Don't be surprised when she dumps your ass again. I'm telling you, it's the girlfriend instrument.
You are so screwed.
Dustin's mom pops in and asks if Mike and Holly are staying for dinner, and Mike says no, he needs to take Holly to her karate class.
Dude, do you think he could be right? Max didn't ask me to be in her band, and it's not like I could compete with Elle. She has literal superpowers.
Don't worry, man. Max loves you. So, Elle has superpowers, and she's like really nice and cool, and she saved the world a bunch of times, and she's really pretty, and she and Max are best friends, and she can make people fly and piss their pants, and she plays the tambourine in Max's band, but you're like really cool too.
Oh my god, Mike was right. She's gonna dump my ass.
No, don't worry, buddy. We'll figure something out. Just maybe don't let her get you alone until we can think of a plan. She can't dump you if she can't get you alone.
Yeah, good plan.
Boys, dinner's ready.
Dustin and Lucas come out and see Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord sitting at the table. He is the creepiest man alive. The boys take their seats as far from him as they can physically get while sitting at a fairly small table. Mrs. Henderson sets a casserole on the table and sits down.
Eat up, boys.
Why, Miss Claudia, you truly outdone yourself. It is a great tragedy of life that I cannot partake in your masterful cooking.
Oh, Dr. Wolfsmore, you flatterer.
You're not eating? Unfortunately, I am on a very specific liquid diet.
He holds up what is very clearly the blood chalice from the film The Lost Boys and takes a sip.
My primary physician prescribed me a very particular brand of protein shakes, but your exquisite mother offers me the secret ingredient to make them more palatable.
It's just a little dash of nutmeg, Doctor.
Oh, you do not give yourself enough credit. I simply do not know how I will survive when this semester ends, and I am sent back to my homeland without you. Perhaps I will have to pack you up in my bag and take you with me.
Oh, Oh, Dr. Wolfsmort.
Ah, please, Miss Claudia. I have told you, call me Abaddon.
Dustin and Lucas are watching this whole exchange like, hey, what?
Yeah, me and Lucas need to go work on our math report.
Oh, don't you want dessert? I made cookies.
Yeah, we're good. We'll grab some later.
They escape back to Dustin's room.
Hey, that was weird, right?
Is Dr. Wolfsmore gonna fuck my mom?
It kind of felt like that.
Dude, I don't want him for a stepdad. He's so creepy.
He'd probably make you move back with him to his creepy mansion in, like, Transylvania. What if he made you sleep in coffins?
No. My mum would never go for that.
She seemed pretty down just now.
God, it's like he cast a charm spell on her or something. She's, like, entranced by him.
Dude, what if he did, though? He's definitely weird enough to be a witch or, like, a vampire.
Vampire, right. Vampire. Oh my god, is there a vampire in my house?
We know monsters are real, right? Vampires could totally be real, and if vampires are real, that guy is for sure one of them. He doesn't go out in the sun, and he doesn't eat food because he's on a liquid diet, and he's got your mum acting like she's under some kind of a spell.
Oh my god, I bet he wants my mum for his vampire bride. That's probably why he came all the way out here. The school thing is just a front.
Why would he come all the way here just for your mum?
My mum's a catch, Lucas. Any vampire would be lucky to have her.
No, I know, but like, isn't it kind of a weird coincidence that Vecna goes quiet and suddenly this guy shows up from out of nowhere? What if he's one of Vecna's soldiers?
Holy shit, he's Cass the Bloody-Handed. Cass the Bloody-Handed wants to fuck my mum.
Where's your walkie? We've got to call the code red.
They start to call around, but nobody picks up because Mike is busy with Holly and Max and Elle are skating again and Will is out of the house. At the Buckley garage, Steve's walkie goes off, but Robin quickly silences it because Steve has finally fallen asleep. She tucks the blankets around him and gives him a little forehead kiss, and climbs up to her bunk, which makes the whole bed shake and rattle and make terrible grating noises. She quickly falls asleep when we see Steve's eyes open.
He wakes in a sort of trance and gets out of the bed as if he were sleepwalking. He goes outside and once again Eddie is waiting for him.
It's you.
Who were you expecting, Rob Halford? Come on, Harrington. Little Lee wants his midnight snacky poo.
This is in reference to the 1978 cinematic classic, Dragula, Queen of Darkness.
The two of them disappear into the dark of night and we return to the Beyer, Hopper, Bauman household where Will is once again sneaking out. This time, Joyce finally gives in to her anxieties and follows him, being careful to stay at a distance so he won't see her. She follows him for a few blocks and jumps when she hears something behind her.
Hi.
Oh! Elle, honey, it's you. You startled me.
Sorry. Are you following Will?
Yes, I don't like him going out on his own at night. He's only 15. I just want to make sure he's safe.
I want him to be safe too. I will come with you.
No, honey, that's okay. You go on home and get back into bed.
No, I want to come. I tried to follow him in my mind, but he blocked me out, and I want to know why. He is my brother. He promised he would not keep secrets from me.
Okay.
They follow Will through town until he reaches a stretch of run-down buildings on the outskirts of downtown Hawkins. He looks around before ducking through a door, and Joyce and Elle hurry to catch up. The building is nondescript, but there is a small sign over the blackened-out window that reads, "The Rainbow Room." Elle frowns at it and the memories it brings up.
You don't have to go in, sweetie.
No, I need to make sure Will is safe.
Together, they push through the door and step into a chaotic flurry of lights and colors and people of all shapes and sizes. They both look around in shock at the drag bar they have stumbled into. Then they spot Will at a table in the center of the room, surrounded by drag queens.
Will?
Mom,
Honey, is this where you have been sneaking off to?
Well, not at first. At first I was just going on walks to clear my head, you know? And then one night I was walking by outside and I saw some of the queens going inside and I followed them. And everybody was so nice and I liked it so much in here I kept coming back. I'm sorry, Mom. I should have just told you.
No, sweetie. I'm so glad you made some friends. I was just worried about you. You know, it makes me nervous to not know where you are.
I know. I'm sorry. You've been so great since I came out, and you've been so supportive, but it was so nice to talk to people who actually understand what I'm going through. I didn't want you to feel left out.
No, baby, I understand. There are some things you don't want to talk to your mom about, even if you know you could. I'm just happy you're okay.
Meanwhile, Elle has been taken in by a troupe of drag queens and she is fascinated by their costumes, so they're letting her touch all the sequins and rhinestones and showing off their makeup for her.
Abigail, you are so cute, but what is this?
You look like a Cabbage Patch Kid that got left in a mechanic shop. Who dressed you?
Well, I was raised in a secret lab for 12 years, and then I wore my dad's old clothes, and then Max took me to the mall once, and that was fun, but it burned down, and my dad died, and then Joyce started buying my clothes at the Goodwill.
Oh, honey.
Come with us, let us fix this.
They take her back to the dressing room and tell her she can pick out whatever she wants from their old costume bins. And she has the time of her life sorting through everything and picking out anything with fun colors and patterns and textures. And by the time she gets back out to Joyce and Will, they've loaded her up with a bunch of old shopping bags full of clothes.
Look, the queens gave me clothes, and they taught me new words. Boots the house down.
Oh, are you sure? This is too generous.
Don't worry about it. We're just helping out a gal in need.
Thank you so much. Elle, I can help you tailor some of those if they don't fit you, okay?
Actually, could you teach me to do it myself? Fancy Reagan told me that I should find some hobbies for myself so that I can have better self-worth and not just do things my friends want to do. I think I would like to learn how to sew.
Joyce is trying very hard not to cry because she is so happy for her babies who she loves so much, and she's like, yeah, I can do that.
We return once again to the animal shelter.
Monica Goodperson is making sure that all the animals are settled for the night.
She hears a rustling sound and calls out to see if anybody's there, but there's no answer.
We switch to another POV shot as something looms over Monica and her face fills with fear. She throws herself in front of the animal cages.
No, please, not the orphan squirrels. They've already lost too much.
The attacker strikes and Monica screams as we cut to black. On that, the most tragic moment of the season. End of episode.
This is that thing Stranger Things does every season where they bring in a new character and say, this is the sweetest, kindest person alive. Do you love them? Are you emotionally invested in them?
Yes.
And you say, yes, I love them. I can't wait to see more of them. And the Duffer Brothers say, great, that's awesome. We're so glad you like them. Oh, hey, just 1 second. I'm getting a phone call. Yeah, take the shot. Hey, sorry, bud. I've got some bad news about your new friend. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, Monica Goodperson.
Yeah, Monica Goodperson.
The next day, Nancy, Jonathan, and Argyle sneak into the morgue to look for the corpses Powell mentioned.
There's some kind of sneaky sequence of them distracting the workers and slipping past them. Either way, they end up in the morgue.
Oh man, are there like dead dudes back here?
Yes, it's a morgue.
How are you guys so chill about like dead bodies? They're like dead, dude.
You can hold my hand if you want.
Thanks, bro.
Nancy starts pulling out all the body drawers and they find 6 sheet-covered bodies. Nancy steels herself and begins pulling back the sheets.
I know we buried the dead guy, but these are like more dead than he was.
We don't have much time. Help me examine them. We need to figure out the cause of death.
Unfortunately, because none of them have medical degrees or paid much attention in biology classes, they're not really getting any information from these corpses.
Well, they're definitely dead. We know that.
These people weren't killed by Vecna. When he kills people, it's like he breaks every bone in their body. And it can't have been demogorgons or demodogs or whatever. They'd be torn to pieces. These people are just regular dead.
Maybe they are just regular dead. Maybe this has nothing to do with the Upside Down and it's just normal this time.
You're right. Vecna's not the only one who can kill people. Maybe this time it was a person.
Does that mean we can stop investigating?
No, the cops aren't doing anything. It's still up to us to catch whoever's doing this. Come on, I've been keeping a list of everybody in town who seems suspicious, and I think I have an idea to get them all in one place so I can question them.
Oh, cool. We can drop you off.
No, you'll have to help me.
What's the plan?
We're throwing a dinner party. Jonathan, I need you to pretend to be my boyfriend again.
Whoa, you're right. She really is still in love with you.
What was that?
Nothing. Let's go.
The three of them put all the bodies back and leave. Just as the door closes behind them, the coroner returns from his lunch break and wheels in a seventh body for examination. He pulls back the sheet to reveal the pale, lifeless corpse of Monica and begins to speak into a tape recorder.
Beginning the autopsy of Monica Goodperson. Just as in the previous 6 cases, the subject's body has been completely drained of blood.
Nancy and Jonathan and Argyle are just so stupid is the only thing.
Nancy calls around to invite all her guests to dinner. She invites Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmoord, the creepiest man in town, and he brings Mrs. Henderson as his +1, Murray's 3 Russian boyfriends, Alexei, Yuri, and Dmitri, because it's still Stranger Things and everyone is still incredibly xenophobic, and also Dr. Hatch from Penhurst and his wife, because he just seems like the kind of guy who might snap and kill a bunch of people someday.
She also calls Steve and Robin and makes them promise to come and pretend to be a couple too, so this will maybe look even slightly less suspicious.
She specifically does not invite Murray, even though his boyfriends are all coming.
Argyle offered to play the role of butler and cook the dinner for them because he happens to have a tuxedo coat in his van and he's been looking for an opportunity to wear it. Nancy says fine.
The Wheeler house is the perfect place for this party since Nancy's parents are out of town, but also Mike and Holly are there, so she sets up a very complicated child gate at the top of the stairs and tells them that they need to stay up there until her fancy grown-up party is over.
Mike says that he's basically a grown-up anyway and he will not be taken hostage in his own home.
Nancy hands him a pizza and a stack of board games and tells him to have fun.
Do you want to play Candyland or something?
Michael, please. I'm 7. I'm gonna go play with my dolls. I'm reenacting the Donner Party and they just got to the Humboldt River.
Erica calls the house looking for Steve because no one's picking up at the Buckley house and she's worried.
They're probably on their way over here now. Do you have a message I can pass along?
No, that's fine. I'll just talk to him when he gets here.
No, Erica, you can't come over. I'm having a very fancy grown-up dinner party that is for my fancy adult colleagues and their guests. You can't come. Erica?
Erica hangs up.
Nancy's guests begin to arrive and she quickly slips into hostess mode, greeting each person and taking their coats. Jonathan has to stand next to her and smile and he's very bad at it.
Outside, Erica walks over from the Sinclair house in her party clothes. They are just her regular clothes, but she's added opera gloves and a necktie and a bunch of costume jewelry and a tiara.
She finds Murray getting out of his car wearing the same thing. She asks if she can be his guest at the dinner party and he says, sure, he's crashing it anyway. He opens the back door of his car to grab the host gifts that he brought.
Inside, Nancy hears the doorbell again, which is weird because all of her guests should be here already. She opens the door to find Murray and Erica.
You can't have a party without your Uncle Murray.
He hands her a large trout with a fishing hook still stuck in its mouth, while Erica shoves a large bottle of vodka at her.
You're gonna want to put both of those on ice.
What are you doing here? I specifically told you both not to come. Did you fish this?
What? No, I don't fish.
Murray vanishes into the party to mingle with the other guests.
Erica, I told you, this is a grown-up party for grown-up.
Yeah. Murray's a grown-up and I'm his guest. Where's the shrimp cocktail?
There's not any shrimp cocktail.
Erica scoffs and rolls her eyes.
And you call this a grown-up party?
She also vanishes into the house. The rest of this episode is an homage to the beloved 1980s sitcom The Office, specifically the dinner party episode.
There's a lot of awkward small talk. Dr. Hatch very obviously recognizes Nancy and Robin because they were insane to him, and Nancy invited him here, but Robin has fully adopted what she considers the persona of a devoted wife as she plays the part of Steve's trophy wife.
Mrs. Steve Harrington.
Yeah, Mrs. Steve Harrington.
Why, I've never seen you before in my life.
I have 6 pages of notes about your developmental delays.
Well, perhaps we met at the country club during a rousing game of tennis.
Argyle brings out refreshments and everybody very clearly sees him grab Jonathan's ass. Robin is keeping the act up, but she and Steve keep giggling.
And the diamond he got me was so big and heavy, I had to take it back to the jeweler and have the whole thing reinforced for my delicate little hands, which is why I'm not wearing a ring.
We're husband and wife.
Robin also just keeps trying to ask people how unions work and how to start one.
This is not the audience for
Yeah,
that.
nobody likes this. They move into the parlor and Steve sees Mrs. Wheeler's "Bless this mess" sign and hisses at the cross on it. Everyone asks if he's okay and he's like, yeah, sorry, I don't agree with the church's views on sexuality, specifically homosexuality. That's all.
There's more awkward small talk. Just Mrs. Henderson and the 3 Russian boyfriends.
Yeah.
Steve sees Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord and Mrs. Henderson and is weird about it. They clearly know each other and are pretending they don't, like everyone else at this party. Erica makes a note of this. Robin tries to ask Steve if he's okay because maybe Erica is right and he is acting weirder than normal, but he distracts her. Erica sneaks up behind Steve and asks, "What are those bite marks on his neck?" And he says, "What? I don't know. They're probably spider bites. I live in a garage."
Upstairs, Holly is explaining the details of the Donner Party to Mike, who is getting kinda into it. She gets up to grab more cotton balls as the snowstorm, and when she crosses by the window, she screams and runs back to Mike.
I saw something outside.
What? Where?
Out there.
Mike looks out the window, but he doesn't see anything. He tells her it was probably her imagination.
No, I saw it. It was a vampire.
Holly, there's no such thing as vampires. Now, come on, they were just about to vote on what to do with James Reed.
Downstairs, Erica tries again to get Steve alone so that they can talk, so she can figure out what his deal is.
There's urgent grown-up business we need to talk about. In the other room. Right now.
No?
But they get interrupted when Argyle brings out the appetizers, which are garlic knots from Surfer Boy Pizza. Steve recoils and fakes a phone call on the house phone because it's the 80s.
I'm so sorry, but I have to go.
Oh no, what's wrong?
It's my little brother, Dustin. He fell down a well.
What?
Different Dustin.
Oh my god. Oh my god, do we need to call Hopper? I can send everyone home. Where is he? I'll grab my keys.
What? No, he's okay. It's, a really short well. I should go help him, though. Robin?
Yes, of course. I'll come with you. To help.
Why do you both need to go? If it's such a short well, you can probably get him out yourself. No reason you both have to miss such a lovely party.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I'll just...
No, Steve. You should stay. I'm sure Dustin will be fine.
He's really stuck in that well.
There are at least 2 Dustins. There is only 1 dinner party.
Sorry, Robs, I really gotta go.
He goes outside and fully sprints down the street for half a block and meets up with Eddie, who pulls him into a kiss. End of episode. Once again, to quote the classic episode dinner party from the classic 1980s sitcom The Office. Purely sexual, and that's all you need to know.
Chapter 4. We pick up where we left off as they break away from the kiss.
You can't hang out with Robin anymore.
What? Why not?
She's too attuned to you. She's getting suspicious. You need to distance yourself. You two literally share a toothbrush. She's definitely going to notice when you start growing fangs.
I can't distance myself from Robin. She's my best friend. We're like a pair of bonded shelter cats.
Eddie waves his hand in front of Steve's face and puts him in a trance. Eddie's eyes flash red and Steve's do the same.
You will avoid Robin. You will keep your distance from her.
Steve looks down at the friendship bracelet on his wrist.
But we're best friends.
Eddie grabs Steve's wrist and removes the bracelet.
Not anymore. Now being evil is your best friend, got it? Robin is just your roommate, nothing else. You will avoid her as much as you can.
I will avoid her as much as I can.
The next day, the kids have school, and we see Dustin and Lucas in Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord's biology class, watching him suspiciously. Mike is attending the 2nd grade with Holly this week because he can't let her off the leash. Lucas and Dustin debate whether or not to ask Will what kind of vibes he's getting from Dr. Wolfsmord, but they see how self-confident he is right now and decide not to ruin that for him until they have more information.
Over at the middle school, Erica gathers up her friends and tells them that she needs their help. She pulls out a Lisa Frank journal and lays out her plan to ditch school at the lunch bell and ride her bike to the hair salon Steve goes to every Tuesday morning so she can follow him from there and see what he does.
Meanwhile, Robin is at the local print shop making copies of the flyers she drew for her horsey union. when she sees a small advertisement for a local petting zoo that features pony rides. Robin immediately begins to grumble to herself about unpaid labor in the working class and tears down the little flyer. She hops onto her bike and pedals over to the nearby farm.
She hops over the fence and immediately starts to lecture all of the horses about workers' rights and tries to hand out her brochures, but some goats just start eating them.
Somebody clears their throat behind her, and Robin turns to find an incredibly hot lesbian farmer saddled on a large Mustang. Robin is struck speechless by her big, beefy arms and sweaty flannel. I cannot stress enough that this is the hottest woman you, the audience, have ever seen.
This is the butchest girl Stranger Things can handle before they start getting scared.
Can I help you?
I was just talking to your horses.
And were they talking back?
No, they were not. I don't, hear animals talking to me. That would be crazy. No, I was the only one talking.
How rude of them. Would you like to come inside for a glass of lemonade? You might have better luck finding some conversation in there.
Yes, that would be good. Do you want to wrestle?
What?
Wrestle. I meant wrestle. Wrestle up some lemonade. You're so hot. I mean, you must be hot, 'cause you're sweaty and it's hot out. It's hot out.
Sure. You wait here. I'll get Ernest untacked, and we'll have that lemonade.
Back at the high school, Ella's showing Max the fun, colorful arm warmers she crocheted for her to wear over her boring medical-grade compression gloves.
You used all my favorite colors. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm so happy for you, finding things you like, and that'll give us so many more things to do together, too. Maybe you can teach me how to crochet.
Yes, I would like that. I've been wanting to tell you, I think maybe I don't like skateboarding.
Oh, well, that's okay. You don't have to.
No, but I like skating with you. I think I just like roller skates more. I was thinking maybe next time we go to the park I could bring roller skates instead.
Of course, Elle, whatever you want. And you don't have to be in the band if you don't really want to. It's okay.
No, I like being in the band. I like to play tambourine.
Awesome.
Fierce boots.
We catch back up with Erica and her friends who have followed Steve home and are just watching him through the open garage door with binoculars.
This is boring. He hasn't moved in like 3 hours. He's just been reading that stupid book. So far, the only thing out of the ordinary is how long it takes him to read each page.
He has, so much brain damage.
Yeah, this is a bust. You said he was acting weird.
He was.
Sorry, Erica. I need to go home for dinner or my mom will take away my phone privileges again. Sorry.
Erica's friends all leave, and Erica sighs. Just then, Steve sets his book down and gets up to go pee. As soon as he closes the door, Erica darts into the garage and looks at the stack of books next to his chair. The implication that they still have to use the bathroom inside the house is extraordinary to me.
It is a copy of Dracula, An Interview with the Vampire, and Carmilla, and the Spark Notes for Dracula, An Interview with the Vampire, and Carmilla, and also one titled Serving Vampires for Dummies. She hears Steve coming back and quickly runs back outside and jumps back on her bike.
She pulls out her walkie-talkie and calls out a code red. She quickly gets a response from Lucas and Dustin, who tell her that they also have a code red and to meet them at the buyer's house so they can find a grown-up to tell. The three of them converge in the driveway and quickly give each other a rundown of their findings and put the pieces together that Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmoord must be a vampire agent of Vecna who has put Steve under his evil spell. They run inside, but the only one home is Hopper, who was trying to have a relaxing bubble bath and read a romance novel, but now he has to get dressed because there's children screaming in his house.
Okay, what's going on?
A vampire's trying to fuck my mom.
And he works for Vecna.
And he uses vampire powers on Steve. We need to save him.
Yeah, Steve's in danger. We need to save him. He's my best friend.
And how do you know this?
We just do, okay? Dr. Wolfsmoord is staying with Dustin and he's super weird, like he's definitely a vampire.
And Steve's been acting weird too. And just now, I found him reading a bunch of vampire books.
And my mum's under a spell.
Steve too!
Okay.
He does not believe them, but he wants to humor them because they're kids and they've been through a lot. He agrees to drive them all back to Steve and Robin's place and do a wellness check on Steve. They find him doing laundry, trying to get out what are very clearly and obviously bloodstains.
Oh, hey guys?
Oh my god, is that blood?
What? No, it's, wine. I've been getting into wine, so I can impress fancy men and women at fancy parties.
See, kids, there's nothing wrong.
That is very clearly and obviously blood. His clothes are literally covered in it.
Steve, man, if you're in there, we're gonna help you.
Don't worry, buddy, we'll save you. We won't let him have you.
What?
They think some guys got you under an evil spell.
Oh, no, guys, it's cool. We went through this already. I'm just bisexual.
Yeah, kids, Steve's just bi.
No, that's not what this is.
He's under an evil spell.
Wow, kids, I thought you were all more accepting of your friends. Joyce gave me a bunch of brochures if you want to borrow them.
You're not listening to us. Everyone is in danger.
Come on, let's get you kids home. You need to give Steve space to explore his sexuality.
He ushers them back to the car, and as he closes the door, Erica locks eyes with Steve and sees his eyes flash red for just a moment.
He drops them all off at the Sinclairs on his way to therapy, and Erica tells them all what she saw. They pull out their D&D manuals and any books about vampires they can find in the house. I assume dozens. And start researching how to break a vampire's spell.
Nancy and the boys are having an adventure wherein she tries to be bait to lure the murderer out so they can confront him in the woods or whatever. Eddie is not playing along because why would he? He kind of peeked out through the trees and was like, yeah, I'm good. Nancy is wearing her most revealing pantsuit.
It's identical to all of her other pantsuits.
Yeah.
Oh no, I hope no murderers see me out here with my vulnerable feminine body.
She wants you so bad it's insane.
Robin arrives back home very frazzled and in desperate need of a bestie talk. Steve has finished his laundry and is now changing his clothes.
Oh my god, Steve, I just met the hottest woman I have ever seen in my life. Like, unreal levels of hot. Like, doesn't exist in real life hot.
Cool.
No, not cool. She owns a petting zoo, Steve, with horsey rides. She is literally one of the oppressors. God, she's so hot. I think I accidentally asked her to wrestle me. I want her to put a bridle on me and ride me. It's insane. It's like all of my morals just exploded at the sight of her. She makes Vicky look like a gremlin, and you know how gorgeous Vicky is. It's like, Vicky who? I don't even care that she went out of state for college anymore. All I care about is getting this woman to spit in my mouth. God, what do I do, dingus? Like, it seems like I might actually have a chance with this woman. Like, she gave me lemonade and she kept laughing and touching my arm, and also she asked if I wanted to come back sometime to have sex with her. That would go against, like, everything I believe in.
Oh, that sucks.
He puts on his watch, and Robin notices what's missing from his wrist.
Hey, where's your friendship bracelet?
Huh? Oh, I must have lost it. I don't know. I've got to get going. See you later.
Where are you going? We had plans tonight, remember? We were gonna smoke weed and watch Howard the Duck. I need to smoke weed and watch Howard the Duck, or I swear to God I'll bike right back over there and ask that woman to nail horseshoes on my feet or something.
Oh, oops. I made plans.
With who? We literally only hang out with each other.
I have a life outside of you, Robin.
He grabs his jacket and leaves, and Robin looks shaken.
I don't know what the fuck that was, but that was not my fucking bestie.
Robin grabs her bike and races to the Sinclair house.
Erica, I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. Something is definitely wrong with Steve. We need to save him.
Welcome to the team.
Robin and the three kids have stayed up all night doing research and trying to narrow down every piece of vampire lore they can think of to figure out what sounds the most realistic. In the morning, Mr. and Mrs. Sinclair come downstairs to make breakfast.
Oh, Dustin stayed over, and some lesbian.
Robin Buckley, sir.
Right.
She's with me.
Okay.
How do you all know each other?
Robin and Steve worked at the mall together and now they live in a garage.
I would be dead if it wasn't for her, but also it was her fault I almost died.
Robin was in marching band.
Can you make French toast for breakfast?
Sure.
Oh, I love French toast. Do you have any fresh berries?
I'll check.
The four of them decide to skip school and go to Dustin's house to search the guest room for clues about what Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord is up to and how they might be able to stop him.
They're specifically looking for if he has a secret coffin under the bed or shoved in the closet that they could steal, or at least a bag of dirt or something vampire-y they can use against him.
They all finish breakfast and say they're going to bike to school together, and then they bike to Dustin's house and wait for Mrs. Henderson to go to work.
Meanwhile, Nancy, Jonathan, and Argyle are trying to figure out if the missing and dead people have anything in common, because if the murderer didn't come murder her, there must be a very specific profile that she doesn't fit. And she's right, but Nancy.
After school, Mike takes Holly to her weekly ballet class, and we recognize her teacher as one of the drag queens from the Rainbow Room, Amanda Hugginkiss. Holly drags Mike as she runs over to give her teacher a hug because she still has to wear the harness and leash to all of her activities over her activity-specific outfits.
Oh, hi, I'm Holly's brother, Mike. I'm babysitting this week.
Oh, you're Mike. Okay.
All of the girls at the club have heard a lot about Mike from Will, and they are not impressed. Amanda gives him an absolutely withering look and tells him that he needs to put his hair up if he's going to be in her studio, and tosses him some loner ballet shoes.
Across town, Max and Elle are at band practice again, and Max reveals to her new bandmates that her therapist has been encouraging her to write poems to help work through her trauma, and it felt stupid at first, but then she read a Kate Bush interview where she talked about her writing process, and Max realized that instead of writing poems about her feelings, she could write songs, and ever since then the words have just seemed to pour out of her.
Her bandmates are very supportive and excited to see her lyrics, and she pulls out a full notebook to show them. They immediately get started putting her words to music, and it's incredibly cathartic for all five of them. Max gets to finally express and release all of her pent-up emotions about Billy's abuse and his death, and finally having found safe people who love her, but who are constantly being put in danger, and Elle, having watched Brenner die last season, completely understands everything she's singing about.
The three boys relate less to the specifics, but this is still exciting for them. They miss their friend Eddie and they love playing with him, but this is so different and novel that it's making them excited to play music again.
Afterwards, Elle says that she made them all presents and pulls out a large tote bag and hands out sock puppets that she made to perfectly resemble each member of the band, including miniature versions of their instruments made out of cardboard and yarn. They all say thank you for the sock puppets. Elle, we love the sock puppets, they're very fun.
The gang at the Henderson house has thoroughly destroyed Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord's bedroom, turning everything inside out in their search for clues.
Shit, he's gonna be home soon. You guys, we need to get out of here.
But we haven't found anything yet.
Maybe there's nothing here.
You're right. Maybe there's nothing here.
What?
Dustin, you said you hear him leave the house a lot at night, right?
Yeah, like every night.
So maybe he's going off to sleep in his coffin somewhere else.
His lair!
Yes!
Erica crawls out from under the bed.
Erica holds up a sweater vest that they all instantly recognize.
Oh god, he's got Mr. Clark!
Dustin, Lucas, and Erica all run outside to grab their bikes, but Robin tries to stop them.
Okay, we cannot just ride our bikes straight into a vampire lair with zero weapons or protection. We need Nancy's gun or, like, some wooden stakes first.
This is just a recon mission. He doesn't go there until way after dark, so it's safe. He won't be there, but his coffin might be.
Yeah, but what if Mr. Clark is there and he wants to know why we're breaking into his house and snooping around and the vampire curse kicks in and he gets all bitey? What if it's like the hive mind and as soon as we step inside it alerts everyone we've got vampires swooping in from all sides?
Maybe she's right.
Okay, so let's grab some wooden stakes, and if any vampires try to mess with us, we'll stake their asses.
I really don't feel great about being the only adult in this situation. I just turned 18 like 6 months ago, you guys.
Well, we tried calling on the walkies, but nobody picked up, and Steve's usually our go-to grown-up, but he's been seduced by the enemy, and Hopper doesn't believe us, so I think you're all we've got.
Oh god, yeah, I really don't feel great about this. What about Joyce? Did you try her?
We tried calling the buyers again, but Hopper picked up.
She works downtown, right, at Melvold's?
Come on, it's almost dinner time. Dr. Wolfsmord will be here any second. We have to go.
Okay, let's go. We can try Melvold's on the way.
They all ride their bikes downtown and run into Melvold's.
They find Joyce sitting at the counter, with Murray sitting on the counter, drinking a juice box.
Oh, thank God, grown-ups.
Hey, grown-up. Hey, kids, what's up?
We really need to give you your own walkie.
You guys don't sell guns here, right?
Mrs. Byers, Steve is in mortal danger. We need your help.
can you drive us to Mr. Clark's house?
So no hellos?
Okay, slow down. What's happening?
They do a very hurried run-through of how a vampire is living with Dustin, and he has Steve under a spell and is making him do his evil bidding. And they think he's using Mr. Clark's house as a secret lair.
And he's not just bisexual, okay? We know Steve's bisexual. This is a different thing.
Last night we snuck out and followed him to the cemetery, and when we tried to confront him, he told us he was just cruising for guys, but he was wearing a black velvet cape, and I'm not the most up-to-date on what's trendy for bisexual dudes, but I don't think it's that.
Yeah, he was definitely burying a body.
Okay, kids, I'll grab my keys, go hop in the car. Murray, can you watch the store for me?
Yeah, no. I want to see the vampire lair.
Fine, come on. I keep a shotgun in the trunk.
They all pile in her car and peel out towards Mr. Clark's house.
End of episode. Murray picks the lock on Mr. Clark's garage door and they all sneak in to investigate. It's very dark and spooky, and Dustin shines his flashlight around the room. There's a large rectangular shape on one side of the garage, covered by a tarp.
Lucas carefully lifts the edge of the cloth and they all watch in anticipation as it falls away to reveal not a coffin, but a refrigerator.
I bet there's a body in there.
Erica!
What? Do you think there's not a body in there?
Lucas opens the lid and inside they find a bunch of tubs of blood packed in with ice packs.
Holy shit! Holy shit!
Murray leans down into the fridge and pulls out one of the tubs to examine.
Well, at least it's not human.
What?
It's pig's blood. Think he's making diniguan? That'd be a lot of stew.
These ice packs.
Robin holds up one of the ice packs and we see the Scoops Ahoy logo printed on it.
These came from the mall.
Suddenly, the garage light turns on and they all whirl around to find Mr. Clark standing in the doorway.
Hi!
Mr. Clark, we were just... Hi!
Why do you have buckets of pig's blood in your garage?
Well, I'm making diniguan. The Filipino Heritage Club at the library is having a Thanksgiving potluck and my gentleman friend invited me. What are you all doing here?
Maybe we'll answer that when you tell us what your ugly-ass sweater vest was doing under Dr. Wolfsmord's bed, huh?
I don't really think I should be discussing my personal life with a student, Erica. We've talked about this.
I'm so sorry, Scott. We'll get out of your hair. Sorry about this.
All right. Have a nice break, everyone.
The next day is Thanksgiving, so there's no school. Joyce dropped Erica, Lucas, Dustin, and Robin all back at the Sinclairs to spend the night because she agreed that Will and Elle have been through enough and they deserve to sit this one out as much as possible.
In the morning, Joyce and Murray come back to reconvene with the kids, and the Sinclair house is in a rush of activity while Mr. and Mrs. Sinclair are cooking and cleaning and trying to prepare Thanksgiving dinner.
Joyce, hi. Did you need something?
Oh, actually, I'm here to talk to Lucas and Erica.
You're here on Thanksgiving to talk to my children?
Yes.
And you brought a strange man with you.
Oh, this is Murray. Sue, Murray, Murray, Sue.
Hey there, love the apron.
Murray produces a single yam, seemingly out of nowhere.
They all sit on the floor of Lucas's room and try to put together the facts.
Okay, so Mr. Clark isn't a vampire. He and Dr. Wolfsmord just have casual sex sometimes.
Gross.
I can't believe Dr. Wolfsmord would cheat on my mum like that.
I mean, he was already cheating on her with Steve, probably.
Double gross.
Okay, but Mr. Clark had ice packs from Scoops Ahoy in his fridge. They don't sell those at the store. You'd have to steal them from the mall. But if Dr. Wolfsmord gave them to him, we need to check out Starcourt.
You're right. That's the only clue we've got right now.
They all pile back into Joyce's car, and the Sinclairs call after them that Lucas and Erica need to be back by 4 for dinner, and they say, yeah, maybe.
Meanwhile, Jonathan has discovered, because Elle and Max stole a bunch of newspapers from every porch in a 2-block radius to do paper mache with, that the missing teens had been found very close to the mall.
Why didn't you start with the newspaper?
The Hawkins Post is not a reputable source, Jonathan. They don't print real reporters who are writing the truth.
God, Nancy, you need to work on your issues with rejection.
He and Argyle share a meaningful look.
At the Wheeler house, Mike pulls out the many Tupperwares of food that Mrs. Wheeler made for him to heat up for Thanksgiving dinner, and they all look very gross. He asks Holly if she wants to just order a pizza, and she says sure. He tries to call Surfer Boy Pizza, but nobody picks up. While he tries to call again, Holly sits down at the table to draw.
Joyce's car screeches to a stop outside the mall parking lot, and everybody climbs out and sees Nancy and Jonathan and Argyle already there. Nancy is using bolt cutters to break through the fence. The groups converge and they climb through the fence together.
Luckily, there's no intact glass on any of the doors or windows, so it's very easy to sneak into the mall, and we get our first look at the inside. Even with daylight streaming through the broken ceiling, it is very shadowy and dingy, and we see that the vegetation that has overtaken the building is not all normal vegetation. The vines creeping across the floor and up the walls are the same vines that cover the Upside Down, and there are some spores floating in the air.
They creep as quietly as they can through the wreckage and find an opening that leads underground. They follow it and find a sunken storage room that has been converted with shitty graffiti and band posters and garbage. They hear voices coming from where the room opens up, and they inch forward to see who's there.
Meanwhile, Mike has given up on trying to order a pizza and sits down next to Holly. He glances at what she's drawing and frowns, trying to get a better look.
What is that?
It's the vampire.
The what?
The vampire, the one I saw the other night.
But that's... it can't be...
We pan down to her drawing and see that it is a slightly mean but very accurate caricature of Eddie.
This vampire was right outside our house?
Yeah, it was standing on the patio table.
Oh, God.
Deep in the mall, the group peeks around the corner to find a full vampire lair akin to the abandoned resort in The Lost Boys.
Movies of all time.
Gathered there are a bunch of random hot guys from around town like blonde KJ Appa and Herrick Dale, and also the Mind Flayer. Perched on a throne at the center of the room is Eddie, and Steve, who is, in an act of blatant fan service, sitting on his lap like a Pomeranian.
Once again, their relationship is purely sexual.
Holy shit, Eddie's alive!
Nancy slaps her hand over Dustin's mouth and yanks him back around the corner, and everyone else follows.
Outside in their cars, their walkie-talkies are going off like crazy as Mike tries to call the code red. He quickly gives up and drags Holly out to their bikes and over to the Byers Hopper Bauman house. He does not stop to knock, he just bursts through the door, but he freezes when he steps inside and the house is a wreck.
The whole place is covered in scraps of paper and fabric, and unraveled spools of ribbon, and spilled glitter, and pipe cleaners, and pom-poms, and puddles of craft glue and acrylic paint, and there's a hot glue gun that got left on and is smoking.
He is very concerned because the Byers' house gets destroyed like once a season, and it is always a bad sign. But then Elle just walks out of the kitchen, also covered in paint and glitter and glue and like clumps of paper mache that got in her eyebrows, and is like, oh, hi.
Will and Max come out behind her, and we see that they are all just having a fun craft day together.
Mike explains very frantically that he thinks Eddie is alive and shows them Holly's drawing and asks where any of the adults are.
Hops at therapy and Mom and Murray said they had to go buy more stuffing mix.
We need to find them. I don't know how Eddie's alive, but dead people being alive is never good, right? Murray's boyfriends are downstairs. Maybe they can help us.
The four of them go downstairs and find Alexei, Dimitri, and Yuri watching Looney Tunes together. They begin the very arduous task of trying to explain the situation to these three men who are not fluent in English and were not prepared to deal with this today.
But who was? Back at the mall, the gang has retreated back to the main part of the mall to strategize. They realize that they are outnumbered, but they don't feel right leaving Steve there. So they need to get him alone so they can grab him. Dustin tries to argue for getting Eddie too, but everyone agrees that it's too dangerous right now and they need to start with Steve. They stock up as well as they can with ropes and a cloth to gag him with, and then they go back down to the lair.
Nancy uses her compact mirror to shine a reflection on the wall and moves it around until it catches Steve's attention. He is immediately transfixed and gets up from Eddie's lap to follow the little beam of light. Eddie slaps his ass and goes back to the conversation he was having with the Mind Flayer.
Nancy uses the light to lure Steve closer and closer until he's out of sight of the rest of the group, and they pounce on him. Together, they quickly tie him up and shove the gag in his mouth and make a hasty retreat.
The 4 teens at the Byers' house have finally succeeded in getting across all the important information, and the 3 Russian men agree to help them. They all run upstairs just as the front door opens and the other group barrels inside, dragging a thrashing and kicking Steve with them.
They tie him more securely to a kitchen chair and remove his gag.
They all start trying to interrogate him at once, and Murray has to yell for them all to be quiet and take turns.
Steve, honey, just tell us what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Steve, you're wearing a cape. We know you're a vampire.
Capes are really trendy in the bisexual scene right now, Dustin.
Shut up! We already know you're bisexual. This isn't about that.
What were you doing in the mall with the Mind Flayer?
He's a member of my LGBT book club. We were just having a meeting.
No, the LGBT book club meets on Tuesdays, Steve, and you would never hold one without me.
We know you hooked up with our biology teacher.
What? I would not hook up with Mr. Clark. He's not even my type.
No, our new biology teacher, Dr. Abaddon Wolfsmord.
I don't know him.
Yes, you do. He's controlling you. And Eddie. I don't know how he's back, but Dr. Wolfsmord has to be behind it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Everyone is frustrated that they're getting nowhere, and Will reminds them about when he was under the Mind Flayer's power and couldn't communicate until they found a way to reach him.
We have a very sweet montage of the kids telling Steve about all the times he protected them, and Jonathan says he never actually thanked him for replacing his camera, and Joyce tells him how thankful she is for him looking out for her kids, and Nancy tells him that even if they don't work together romantically, she'll always love him, and it's very sweet, but it's not working. And then they bring in Robin. They bring in the big guns.
Robin gives a very heartfelt speech about how Steve is her best friend, and it's crazy that someone she hated so much in high school became the most important person in her life. But he did, and she's so happy he did, because she's never had someone who understood her the way that Steve does, and she's never loved anybody the way she loves Steve. And it seems like he's finally starting to crack.
Keep going, honey. I think it's working.
Steve, you're the best friend I've ever had.
We barely know each other. You're just my roommate.
No, I'm your best friend. We're Steve and Robin. We're one entity. We're one horse. You're my schmuck and my dingus, and I wouldn't want to be a horse with anyone else. But that means you can't be a vampire, Steve. There's no such thing as a vampire horse. Where would the fangs even come from? You need to break through the spell, okay? You need to be my bestie again. I need my bestie back.
Tears are flowing down Robin's face, and as they all watch, a single tear wells up and spills down Steve's cheek. The haze over his eyes seems to clear, and he shakes himself as if waking from a dream.
Robin?
The vampire's curse is finally broken by the power of bestie love.
Steve, now free of his curse, helps to fill in the blanks of their knowledge about what's been happening at the mall. He tells them about how Eddie got him alone and put him under his spell. As an act of fan service specifically for us, Steve is now sitting in Robin's lap.
How is he alive?
He told me that when he died in the Upside Down, his body was, reabsorbed into that world. Vecna was able to reanimate him and add him to the hive mind.
What does that mean? Is he Eddie, or is he just Eddie's body?
It's kind of hard to say. He talks like Eddie, but he doesn't feel like Eddie. He's like episode 1 Eddie, when he was kind of mean?
Oh god.
It reset him back to factory settings.
Yeah, like that.
Is that bad?
Everybody winces.
It's not great.
It makes sense that that's the version Vecna would want to use.
On the bright side, if we have to fight him, that'll make it, way easier for us to grapple with morally.
And will we? This Eddie, he's working with Vecna now?
Yeah, he's one of his soldiers. Eddie said that Vecna wanted to use him to gather up a new army to take over the town once and for all. He sent him up here to put as many people under his command as possible.
Dear God, he's had 6 months to grow his army. It must be huge by now. That small group we saw was only the beginning.
Oh, actually, that was pretty much everyone.
What?
Yeah, it took a few months for Eddie's body to heal from all the bat bites, and then he spent a while digging through the mall to try to put together his new vampire look. He spent a full month just in the anachronistic Hot Topic, and then he spent a few weeks brainstorming vampire pickup lines, and then he got kind of distracted following hot guys around. He's kind of really bad at being an evil minion.
Cut to 3 months ago.
Yes, I see now where my plan faltered. By targeting the misogynistic guys at the newspaper and racist Billy, 11 and her friends had no qualms having to fight them off and hit them with cars. This time I will sink my hooks into her friends. Then she will be forced to... Wait, are you even listening?
Eddie, who has ADHD and was writing an epic vampire-themed rock opera in his head, was not listening.
What? Yeah, I'm totally listening. You have like an evil plan and stuff. It's like super Metal Man. Do you think bloodlust and spilled guts are close enough to rhyme?
Vecna says a slur.
End of flashback.
Okay, so where does Dr. Wolf's mode fit into this?
Yeah, what's his plan to steal my mom?
Oh, I actually don't think he's involved with this.
What?
Then why were you acting like such a freak when you saw him at the dinner party?
Yeah, babe, you were being weird about that.
Oh, yeah, so, Dustin, you remember that time last month when you asked me to drive you to the arcade, but then Lucas invited you to go see Trick or Treat at the theater and you forgot to tell me?
Steve, no.
And I came to pick you up, but you had already left with Lucas, so you weren't there, but Dr. Wolfsmord was.
Oh my god, Steve.
And he invited me in for coffee, and one thing led to another.
Steve, please tell me you didn't fuck a biology teacher.
I can't do that, Dustin.
Steve, he's so old. He's like 100.
Okay, I have daddy issues. What of it?
Just then, Hopper walks in, feeling great from an intense but very productive therapy session.
Oh my god. What did I miss?
They all fill him in, and together they determine that there's a secret gate deep in the bowels of Starcourt, and that Eddie and his hot boy vampire gang have been stationed there to guard it, and they'll have to go through them to get to Vecna if they want to end this once and for all.
Are the other guys full vampires like Eddie?
No, they're all like me. Eddie's just got them under his spell.
So the spell can be broken.
Yeah, but how?
I think we have to kill Eddie. Again.
Can't we save him? Maybe we could break Vecna's hold on him.
Sorry, man. I think it's too late for that. I don't think he can exist without Vecna now.
You've just gotta remember that this isn't the real Eddie, it's evil Eddie.
He's not any more or less dead than he was before.
That does make him a little harder to kill.
Can't we just shoot him? That usually works.
We don't know for sure it would.
Yeah, it's vampire rules, so it could take a wooden stake or a decapitation or burning him in the sun or something.
Steve, any ideas?
Well, one time we were having sex on top of his guitar and it had, like, a heartbeat? That's weird, right?
Wait, so you did have sex with him? What's the vibe on that?
Oh, fully consensual. It was unrelated to the evil vampire stuff.
Cool.
Like, he did drink my blood during it, but I was into it.
Okay, not super the time, but we can debrief later, bestie.
Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear any of that, but I do have an idea. Can we stop at my trailer on the way to the mall?
Yeah, of course, honey.
I'm gonna get out a call to Owens in case we need backup.
Can I use the phone after you?
They all gear up for battle with a bunch of homemade stakes and explosives and Nancy's gun, and they make their way back to the mall. By the time they get there, the sun is setting, casting them all in a bright red-orange light as they march across the rubble-filled parking lot.
Just as they reach the doors of the mall, the sun sets below the horizon, and Vampire Eddie comes flying out of the smashed skylights to hover above the mall. His gang of hot men comes pouring out to surround the mall.
You think you could defeat me with your little sticks? I could rip out each of your hearts before you even try to attack me.
No, they're not here for you. I am.
Oh, and what makes you think you stand a chance?
Max unlatches her guitar case and pulls out what was once Eddie's guitar. He looks shocked to see her with it and instinctively reaches for the evil upside-down version of it strapped across his back.
How did you...
Uncle Wayne gave it to me. He said I should have it, since he's my uncle now.
What? He's my uncle?
No, he was, but then you died. You used to have a lot of things that are mine now. My Uncle Wayne, my guitar, my band.
Your band?
Yeah, Corroded Coffin. I'm the frontman now. We're working on a Madonna cover for next week's gig at the Hideaway.
No! They would never betray me like that.
But they did. Maybe they'll come take you back, though. If you can prove you're better than me.
Of course I'm better than you.
Prove it.
Fine, let's see how well you shred when your friends are fighting for their lives. Hot minions, attack!
The gang of hot men all fall into formation as their eyes glaze over and glow red. Eddie plays the opening notes of Judas Priest's Love Bites, and Elle uses her telekinesis to lift Max's chair into the air so she and Eddie can circle each other above them while they play.
Remember, don't hurt them unless you have to. They aren't in control of themselves.
Got it.
The vampire minions attack, and the party fights them off as best they can without seriously injuring any of them. Luckily, there aren't that many men because, again, Eddie got distracted only seducing the hottest men in town, which is helping Nancy's ego a bit. But being under the spell does make them stronger and better at fighting, so it's still a tough fight. Mike is just holding one end of the child leash while Holly runs around really fast tangling up people's legs.
Above them, Max and Eddie are evenly matched in their musical battle, and their fingers are flying across the frets as they strain to outdo each other. Eddie, breathing hard, glances down to see that the party is gaining the upper hand, and he lets out a sound of frustration.
Raccoons, now!
From out of the shadows comes a swarm of rabid raccoons with glowing red eyes, skittering straight for Steve, who is at the front of the group. Blonde KJ Appa sees this and fights against the bonds of the spell, breaking through just in time to leap between Steve and the oncoming army of raccoons and shout,
Steve Harrington, I have loved you ever since that little boy over there paid me to kiss you in that garage. This is for you, baby.
He spreads his arms, accepting his fate as the raccoons overtake him and tear his body to shreds.
Wait, was that the pizza guy?
No, I'm the pizza guy.
Oh, okay.
The distraction of this gives Max just enough time to finish her sick guitar solo, which causes Eddie's evil guitar to explode in his hands.
Eddie screams as his body melts and drips into a pile of evil goo on the ground.
A portal opens up and sucks that goo down to super mega hell for gay people.
All that's left of Eddie is his leather jacket and vest, which lay crumpled on the ground.
The hot men come out of their haze and look around in confusion. The grown-ups go to help them with their injuries, and Max, who is now back on the ground, rolls over to collect her rightfully earned cool new jacket.
She puts it on and pats down the pockets to find an old D20, which she tosses to Dustin to keep as a memento of good Eddie, and Steve's friendship bracelet, which he returns to the rightful owner.
Robin reties it on his wrist, and they do a little handshake that ends with them kissing each other's bracelet, and they cry a little because they love each other so much and they're best friends.
End of episode. I haven't seen any of this next episode.
You have not read any of what I wrote for Chapter 8.
No, this is
all cold read.
Yeah. With the curse broken and the path cleared, they are free to make their way down to the gate. But before they make it far into the mall, they hear a bunch of cars and a helicopter outside in the parking lot.
It's the drag queens, and they're here to help. Will put out a distress signal, and not a single queen denied the call. A couple of them stay back to look over the injured but no longer cursed hot minions, but most of the ladies follow them further into the mall.
They explain that they don't know what they're getting themselves into, and they know it's dangerous, but they also know that if Will is in danger, then there's nowhere else they'd rather be because he's one of them now. They find the gate deep in the basement, not fully at the secret Russian base level, but like pretty close.
While they walk, they break off into smaller groups to have private conversations 6 feet away from each other, like in Stranger Things. The way they do. Will and Elle go to thank their drag queen friends for their help, and Nancy breaks off with Jonathan.
Hey, thanks for all your help this week. Even if the kids figured it out faster than we did, we still make a pretty good team.
Yeah, about that.
Growing up I always had this dream. It's stupid, but I always dreamt someday I'd start my own detective agency where I'd take the cases the police dismissed, the cases like Barb's, cases like Will's, if Hop hadn't believed your mom. Most cops wouldn't have, but I would. And I thought maybe I'd have someone with me helping me investigate, and I always kind of thought it would be you. And that's why I really liked working with you again this week, just like old times, because we work well together. I guess what I'm trying to say is...
Nancy...
Would you want to be my business partner?
Huh?
I know you like working with Argyle, but you've always been so good at investigative journalism, it would be a shame to give up that calling. And if I start a private detective agency, you're the first person I'd want by my side. As a business partner, I mean.
So you weren't just trying to hang out because you're still in love with me?
God, no. That ship sailed a long time ago, Jonathan. My only love now is the search for truth.
Oh, then... Cool, yeah, I'd love to keep doing this with you. Can Argyle come?
He might be kind of a liability on dangerous cases.
Can I be a receptionist? I'm really good at answering phones and doing paperwork, and I look great in a pencil skirt.
Sure, Argyle. You can be my receptionist.
They walk out of frame and we move to follow Max as she catches Lucas by himself. He tries to subtly catch up with Dustin, but she does not let him.
Hey, Stalker. Where have you been all week?
Hey Max, I've just been busy with all the vampire stuff.
No, you've been avoiding me.
I just didn't want to get in your way.
What does that mean?
Like, everything's been going really well for you lately, and I'm really happy for you. Your mum's been doing better, and Wayne seems really nice, and you've got a cool band and a cool guitar. That was really badass back there, by the way. The way you literally shredded so hard it melted Eddie. That was so cool. And you've got Elle, and she plays tambourine in your band, and that's the girlfriend instrument. And I know she makes you really happy, and I want you to be happy, so I don't want to get in the way of that. I figured I'd just back off and let you be with her.
You're an idiot.
What?
Yes, I like Elle. She does make me happy.
And that's okay. I want you to be happy, even if it's not with me.
Lucas, I have 2 tambourines.
What are you?
Max reaches into the bag on the back of her chair and pulls out a second tambourine.
I was going to ask you to be in the band too, but you kept avoiding me. I have 2 tambourines. One for Elle and one for you.
You mean?
I can have 2 girlfriends.
Oh.
She hands him the tambourine and grabs his shirt collar to yank him down for a smooch. They are now deep in the Upside Down, and the train is getting much less accessible, so Elle rejoins them and makes Max's wheelchair float again, just high enough that she can comfortably hold hands with both of them.
Their group is now large enough that it's not too hard to fight off any bats or demodogs that get in their way as they get closer to the Creel house, and they all file inside. They all march up the stairs to the attic and find Vecna waiting for them. He is wearing cut-off jean shorts because I hate the way the crotch looks on the Vecna costume.
Okay, I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting you guys to bring so many people.
Give it up, Henry. Your plan failed. We've defeated your army.
I'm gonna beat your face to the gods.
Yes, you will, honey.
We don't have to be enemies, 11. We were friends once, were we not? I helped you and you helped me because we are alike. The men who hurt you are the men who hurt me. These foolish mortals will never understand you the way that I do. Join me, 11, and together we could be gods.
That is not my name.
What?
My name is Jane Hopper, and my friends call me Elle. They love me, and I love them, and you will never understand that because you do not understand love. I love my friends, and I love to roller skate and do paint by numbers, and I love gluing googly eyes onto seashells and making scale models of historically significant buildings, and I love making my own clothes and playing tambourine. I am nothing like you because you understand only anger, but I am more than my anger, and I am more than my powers, and I don't want to be a god, I just want to be a girl.
Elle pulls out her tambourine and Max turns up a dial on her guitar, and Vecna looks on in confusion as everyone slowly arms themselves with instruments.
They begin to play a spirited, if entirely unrehearsed rendition of Echo and the Bunnymen's 7 Seas, with Max on her guitar and Elle and Lucas as her tambourine girlfriends, and Robin has her trumpet, and Hopper has a kazoo, Murray has a guitar, Erica has her plastic recorder from school, Argyle has a pair of bongos, Nancy just has her Glock and is shooting it off like in Paper Planes, Dustin has one of those little wooden frogs with a stick, Will is voguing, etc.
Swimming them so well. Glad to see my face among them, kissing the tortoise shell. Burning the bridges and slashing my mirrors, turning to see if you're cowardly. Burning the witches and other religious, you strike the matches and shower me.
Music swirls around them and their joy seems to become physical as wind whips around Vecna and restrains him while he screams. He physically cannot withstand their happiness and begins to smoke and melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
As the last notes of the song echo through the attic, Vecna collapses to the ground and Hopper unsheaths the sword he got in Russia and offers it to Max, who very happily takes it and brings it down, severing Vecna's head. Another portal to Super Mega Hell opens up and he is sucked down into it.
Eat shit.
Slay, Queen.
They extra double triple check that he's fully 100% dead. And he is! Yay! Yay! Everybody makes their way back across town and they watch as the horrors around them seem to fade without Vecna's presence. As they walk past the Radio Shack, they hear a gentle voice.
Joyce? Is that you?
Bob? Oh my god!
The two of them run into each other's arms, and Bob explains that some of the Demodogs dragged his body through the gate to save as a snack for later, but before they got around to eating the rest of him, he must have been absorbed like Eddie, because he woke up one day and he was a vampire. He didn't know how to get out or what to do, and Vecna just never noticed him, so he's just spent the past 2 years going to work at Radio Shack like normal and trying and failing to plant a garden.
He is not corrupted and evil the way that Eddie was, because Bob is so incredibly pure of heart there was nothing to corrupt, and he's just normal, so he gets to come home with them enjoying their adult Full House polycule, and it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, little buddy. They continue on their way back to the gate, but just as they're approaching the mall, one of the dying Demogorgons uses the last of its strength to jump out and take them by surprise. Nancy fumbles with her gun and finds that she used up all of her bullets during the musical number, but before it can attack, it is shot out of the air mid-leap. They all turn and find Mr. Clark holding a shotgun.
One thing I never could stand about Hawkins, all the damn Demogorgons.
We cut to black, and the title card informs us that it is now 2 weeks later, because it's time for the epilogue. You know, the part we always conceptualize first and then have to write a full season just to get to.
We are back at the Rainbow Room, which is bursting with excitement and anticipation for this very important show. We see the members of the party sprinkled throughout the crowd, some standing at the bar or gathered at tables, but there's a few people missing. The Queen on stage finishes up her act, and the MC comes to the mic.
And now, for her debut performance. You know her, you love her, and you can't fucking find her. She is Miss Ing!
The crowd goes wild as Will steps on stage, and off to the side we see that Corroded Coffin is providing live accompaniment as Max starts up a cover of Susie and the Banshees' Spellbound.
Everybody is clapping and cheering, but not as much as Joyce is clapping and cheering. She is stationed directly in front of the stage wearing one of the t-shirts she made for everybody with Will's face on the front that says, "My son is Miss Ing." And she is screaming and crying and throwing up because she loves her son so much and she is so proud of him.
Elle and Lucas are playing their tambourines with Max, and they are all having so much fun, and they all love each other, and it is so good for everybody. After Will's performance, things mellow out a bit while he goes back to the dressing rooms, and we see Steve and Robin at the bar talking with Amanda Hugginkiss, who is bartending. They're complaining that their horse costume burnt down, so they'll need to find another job. And she tells them that with the bar expanding, they'll need more bartenders, and they should bring their applications in, though I believe they are both 18 at this point.
Don't worry about it, little buddy. Okay. The expansion in question is a newly opened gate to the Upside Down Elle opened for them in the basement. With Vecna dead, it became morally neutral again, and they are currently redecorating it and turning it into the largest secret underground gay club in the world.
It will become the most popular nightlife hotspot in the Midwest.
At the other end of the bar, somebody flags Amanda down for an old-fashioned, and they look over, they see the hot lesbian farmer who inexplicably has a full-grown sheep slung across her big beefy shoulders.
Good.
She notices Robin and lifts her glass, giving her a wink. Robin freaks out a little and Steve gives her a quick pep talk and sends her over. He watches like a proud mother as she and hot lesbian farmer immediately start making out sloppy style against the bar.
Nancy comes over to order a ginger ale.
Oh, who's Robin's friend? She looks nice.
What? Nancy, they're about to go have gay sex. Probably in my car.
Like, as friends?
Nancy.
What? It's not like they're gay. That's for boys.
What are you talking about?
You know, like when boys kiss each other, it's gay, but when girls kiss each other, it's as friends.
how many girls have you kissed?
I don't know, like a handful? That's not gay though, right?
Nancy.
Oh. I'm gonna run home and write in my journal about this. Lots to think about.
Will comes back out once he's changed out of his costume, and everybody quickly surrounds him to shower him in love and congratulate him on his amazing performance.
Mike waits until there's a lull in the conversation and asks Will if they can talk.
Hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry I was such an idiot before, with the painting and everything. You said yourself that I'm the heart, and I'm definitely not the brain. I can be pretty dense sometimes.
Oh, it's okay, I get it.
No, I should have realized what you were trying to say earlier. I was just so caught up in everything with Elle, I couldn't even see what was right in front of me. But these past few weeks I've been thinking, and then seeing you tonight on stage, it's like my eyes are open for the first time, and I understand now what you were trying to say. And what I should have said. I like you, Will. Like, I really like you. Would you want to go to the movies with me next Friday? Like, as a date?
Oh. No, thank you.
What?
That's really sweet of you, Mike, but Amanda Hug and Kiss introduced me to her cute teenage nephew, and we're boyfriends now.
Oh. Okay.
I'll see you later, though.
Just then, the front door bursts open, and everybody turns in shock to see... Keep going. Just then, the front door bursts open, and everybody turns in shock to see RuPaul strutting inside. He announces that he's been searching the world for the one queen to rule them all, and he's finally found her.
Everybody looks to Will, who is nervously stammering and blushing, but RuPaul walks past him to where the Mind Flayer is sitting at the bar.
He promises to make the Mind Flayer famous beyond their wildest dreams, and everybody watches as they walk out together.
Dustin slides into the seat next to Steve.
We've seen a lot of strange things over the years, haven't we?
Steve ruffles his hair and pulls him into a hug.
Maybe the strangest thing of all was the friendship we found along the way.
Robin drags Hot Lesbian Farmer over so she can join the hug, and soon everybody has piled on in one big group hug.
Fade to black. End of episode.
End of series. No more Stranger Things. Society has progressed beyond the need for Stranger Things.
Thank you for coming on this journey with us that was mostly just an excuse to make Will a drag queen named Missing and also to dress up as a vampire. I like dressing up as a vampire.
Thank you for writing a very good season 5. It was fun. I liked coming up with bits of it, but you just wrote such good dialogue and you wove it all together so well. And it's good costumes. It's just really good.
Thanks, Bestie.
We will see you next time.
Bedtime, baby!
Stop sorry hard with your favorite finger. Make the whole world blue. Stop your tears from singing. Hear the cavemen singing. Good news they're bringing. 7 seas, swimming them so well. Glad to see my face among them, kissing the tortoise shell. Burning the bridges and slashing my mirrors, turning to see if you're cowardly. Burning the witches and mother religious, you strike the matches and shower me in water.
Okay, bye, I love you.
Perfect.
It's so terrible.
So terrible. Let me just slip into something a little more comfortable. It's just that it's kind of crazy good in the worst
I told
way
you, you're
possible.
never gonna want to take it off. This is gonna be your never nude thing.
No, it's not. When I went to do ketamine, it was like the dark dark parking lot, and then they were doing nighttime karate in one of the buildings, and we didn't know where the doctor office was, so we were just like wandering around with the sounds of karate. There will be other Dustins. Oh, there are at least 2 Dustins.
Yeah. There are at least 2 Dustins.
Should we do like some tongue twisters, like warm-ups?
Sally sells seashells down by the seashore.
I think you put Thanksgiving on a Tuesday.
No, it's a Thursday. I mapped it out.
Okay.
Perched on a throne at the center of the room is Eddie.
Oh shit, we forgot. Okay.
Just throw a leg over.
Okay. They don't do that so good.
I can guide.
You want me like on your lap or
Yeah.
okay. I'm sitting on the best. Your mom's gonna walk in on this.
Sure.
You can hold this for a minute. Once again, the relationship. Wow, it's allowed. Okay, I'm just gonna
That. You can choose which slur. That's a fun little game for the audience to play. Comment below what slur I'm gonna call Eddie.
There is a right answer. Fix the nipple situation. It's so scrunched. Wow, what's happening here?
That's fine.
It's the subtle detailing on the hair that does it for me. And the painted nails.
Almost every character has fun painted nails. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it. We did it, boys.
We did it.